Hello, this is Dr. Harrison Jones IV. I was going to come on today. I'm starting a Wednesday series where we're going to touch on leadership. We're going to touch on education. We're going to touch on just building those relationships, building that leadership style, building that style in schooling. That's going to take whatever you're doing. If you're in school, if you're in relationships, if you're, having those next feelings, what I wanted to just do was provide an opportunity where we could talk about those things and just empower each other. I think the key thing, one of the things that I've been evaluating about myself over the last few years is that it's time to start empowering others. The gifts and the things that I've been blessed to know from the experiences that I've had and the people that I've been around, this is the opportunity. This is the opportunity that we have to empower each other. So what I wanted to be able to do is to give to my friends and Facebook and LinkedIn and Instagram and all this, the opportunity to empower each other. And so whether you are on a perfect team and not, or some people say, well, I'm not on a team. Well, anytime you're gathered with someone, that more than one person, two people, three people, that's a team. If y'all are working together for a common goal, a common aspiration, that is a team. So you can't just separate and say, oh, this is my work team, but you have to think family, think relationships, think work, think everything you do is a team. And then you're going to be able to see those principles that we're going to talk about today in every single aspect of your life, how they're going to work together to make sure that your team is going to be strong, it's going to be collaborative, it's going to be working, it's going to win that championship, win that big prize you need, win that success that your teams need. So I wanted to just make sure that, because everybody needs to understand this. Building a strong team is important to success. You cannot get to the finish line without a strong team. We see this all the time. We see this with superstars. We see this with NBA teams. We see this with at work. The team is what they come by. When you have somebody make a hit movie like Black Panther, that team, everybody was on that high level, that high energy, that high octane level, to where they work together to make things better for each other, and they all saw success. They all witnessed success. So having a strong team is important. You don't want to be alone in this. And the reason why I tell you this is because once you get solo, you're going to have different things. You're going to have different pains, but you got to be able to have people to have your back. You got to have people that are going to be able to watch you grow and help grow with you. That is the important thing. So having a definite, strong team, having some people that you have that value your presence, value your success, value your drive, is important to winning and having a successful time in anything that you do. So what I wanted to say is, don't just limit yourself to what you might think, well, I'm a leader, I'm not a leader, I'm a follower, or all these things. This is the time for everyone, especially since you're around your family, around your loved ones, around your workplace, or all those things. This is the time for you to push forward and to build that team. And so what are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about those 5 keys, the 5 reasons, the 5 ways, perhaps, to keep and build a strong collaborative team. So one way, the main way to do it, and the 100% way, is to keep it real. Keep it real. The way to have a strong team is to keep it real. I don't know if you've ever heard of leadership. They say, man, he just keeps it real, or he was always 100% with me. Or anytime you have a leader in any position, the one thing that people always remember was how frank they were, how were they able to have those conversations, how they were able to be 100% with everybody in their group, how they were able to keep it real. Well, what does keep it real means? Well, keeping it real comes with 4 different parts. Real, R is the respect. We're going to come back to that. E is for empower. A is for assist. And L is for lead. Now let's talk about that first part we talked about. The first part we talked about was respect. What does it mean to respect? Well, respect has 3 different parts. And this is the big thing about respect, because a lot of people say, well, respect is earned. It's not given. You have to get on your respect. Well, when you're coming onto a new group, a new organization, or anything, you have to have respect. And that starts out with first thing you need to do is have great communication. We all know how you evaluate yourself is based off of the feedback that you get from others. So you have to be able to communicate and be honest with each other and talk to each other on a regular basis. So communication is key to first and foremost showing respect to another. If you just keep these things to yourself and you're not able to have those conversations that create change, you're never going to get your team to be better. So the key thing is to have respect, is to be able to communicate between all of your appearances. So you need to open up those lines of communication. Talk to your team about how you're going to communicate. Talk about the chain of command. Talk about what issues. What are the lines for if there's a problem? What are the lines for if there's a solution? What if there's a win? How do you celebrate a win? How do you feel in that? So the communication lines have to be open. So you need to share all these things. Talk about everything that you do. Talk about your, making sure you have your social media communication, make sure you have your emails, make sure you have all these lines and open them up. One of the first things that I do when I join any team is I let them know my text messages. I let them know how they can email me, let them know how they can get me on any social media program, because I want them to know that I have an open door policy. And the open door policy is a key thing to respect. If you have a closed door, a lot of people aren't going to like that. They're going to not see you as a part of the team. They're going to see you as that wizard that's in the back of the room. You've seen the Wizard of Oz, where he's making all the puppets move and everything is going on, but he's hiding from the actual reality of what's going on. So respect and have good communication with each other. And also with respect goes a mutual understanding. People say, well, if you have LeBron James, if LeBron James had went to the Golden State Warriors, you know instantly that he would instantly be, they would go to the championship. Do you know why? Because those people that are on his team, they have a mutual understanding of each other, of their skill level. They have their mutual understanding of what they do. If I was LeBron James and I went to the Golden State Warriors, I know Steph Curry, he's knocking down threes nonstop. So I have a mutual understanding between each other of where we're coming from and what your goals are. And so that has to be both ways. It can't just be one-sided. You have to have a mutual understanding between the two of you in order to take that next step. And then the third key to having respect is addressing diversity. You're going to have people from all different types, all different walks of life that are going to come onto your team, or they're going to come into your life as your family members, or different organizations or schools. They're going to come from different cultures. They're going to come from different areas. They're going to come from different levels of income. They're going to come from everywhere. But you have to have an understanding of the diversity. And that means that you have to be able to pick people that don't think like you. And that is the most important thing as a leader or anything. You want to have a team of people that possibly won't think like you. Diversity of thoughts, diversity of ideas, diversity of interaction, of where their backgrounds are is key to having respect. And you put that in play when you build that strong team that you're going to have. The second part, the E is empower. What does that mean to empower? Empower your team. Empower your team. That means when you give opportunities for your team to succeed, give them opportunities to grow, give them opportunities to lead, give people different chances to make that step or be a part of the next step or moving things forward. If there's a special idea, if there's something that you all have in common that you all want to get accomplished, you don't always have to take the lead. You could assign it to somebody else and say, hey, this is a good chance for you to get some experience, to get that moving, get forward, and you could grow. The best leaders know how to build the capacity of others. The best leaders know how to build the capacity of others and grow other leaders. So if you're focused on growing leaders that are around you, you're going to get grown. You're going to grow yourself as a leader as well. So the E part is to empower leaders. Well, how do you also empower leaders? Is by developing, teaching them. Lifelong learners. Professional development is key. Don't ever stop pushing learning in your organization. Don't stop pushing it in your group. Everyone should keep pushing, keep learning, keep growing themselves on that team, because that empowerment is going to be, you see how it's going to trickle around. When you start growing leaders, you're going to see your leaders are going to start growing leaders. When your leaders start growing leaders, that's when you're going to start seeing your strengths. That's when you're going to start seeing the value that you had from empowering others in your organization. So it's interesting enough is like a lot of people ignore that sometimes you do have leaders that grow other leaders that grow other leaders. If you have that leadership pipeline, it's going to be tremendous for your organization or your team or your family or your school or whatever you need to do, because empowering one another lets people know that they're a part of the organization, and not only that, they can one day be at the helm at any time and take that organization to the next level. So you need to have faith in them enough to build them, grow trust, and empower them to lead the organization in the future. I know when I watch, I'm just going to keep saying LeBron, because I honestly think LeBron James is one of the best leaders in the world right now. But LeBron James has Anthony Davis. He's running Lakers organization right now. That's LeBron. But the next step is going to be Anthony Davis, and everybody knows that. So what does he do? He's empowering him, teaching him, growing him, teaching him how to become that leader, that guy that has to make it through the playoffs. That guy has to deal with adversity. That guy has to deal with those problems, even as a